Hello everyone, this is me. You finally get to see my ugly head. I'm going to give you a quick background on me, where I'm at, because this seemed like a good opportunity to get that out of the way, I suppose. And the bigger issue, or the more important one, thought I'd give you a quick tour of my setup, because as some of you know, over the last month or so, I haven't posted much at all. I think the last I did was the Lightning, and before that, the Percival Jet Provost. So the background on that is I did get caught up with operation, I think 15 stitches in my mouth. I was totally stoned, so there wasn't a lot happening there. I think played video games for a week and watched, I don't even know, I was out of it. I was completely off my dial actually. So there wasn't, so the short thing there is there wasn't much happening on the modeling front. And then about a week ago, I realized that, well, it's been building, that my workspace was just getting out of control. And I don't really like that for a number of reasons. One is you just can't find stuff and it becomes frustrating. And two is definitely when I can't find stuff, I'll tend to get lazy and just use whatever's convenient. At the end of the day, for me, this is supposed to be fun, relaxation. By day, I'm head of top technology for a group of companies, although I can't say I'm a big fan of technology. So the idea is I want it to be pleasant, I want it to be fun, I don't want to get frustrated trying to look for things. And there's nothing worse than, I know, I just saw that the other day, now where is it? For those of you that are new to modeling, don't worry if you don't feel like you've got much stuff. By the time you buy paint here, paint there, buy this thing, buy that, within 6 months you don't know what you're doing with it all. And I think scale modeling is definitely one of those where you can accumulate a lot of little odds and ends. So like I say, my priority is really just giving you that quick background on where I'm at, what I'm planning to do, and then I'm going to take you on a little tour of what I've done with my workspace, because that was driving me nuts. Also, I do want to say really happy with what I've been learning. That was one thing that I didn't expect, just some of the real world often and sometimes a bit obscure learning that I get from the comments, and that comes from people that have tons of experience, and not just with toy planes but real ones. So that is very cool, and I do want to thank everyone that has subscribed and it contributed. Actually, I'm always astounded at my own ignorance. You think you know something and then it's like, wow, I don't know much at all. So that has been really cool. On my part, I think it's important to stress I'm not setting myself up as some expert. The channel I really started as a bit of an experiment, I guess, and it's sort of grown beyond that, beyond what I expected. It was just really an idea just to see if I could post some videos and more for family and friends. So that's cool. On the shouldn't say other hand, but, and there's no way I'm re-editing this, so don't even think that. That's not going to happen. If you want Hollywood production, you're in the wrong place. What was I going to say? From my point of view, the modeling is supposed to be fun. I do think I can sometimes contribute a little bit just the way I do it. And from my point of view, I like to watch different people to see how they do things. And that includes everyone from very small channels up to Plasma and Night Shift and all the big people. I do think you can learn something from everyone. I think it was Richard Feynman, physicist, said that, Feynman. Which is sort of my background a long time ago. So I'm not going to bore you too much with the about me. I do have some kits coming up. I think the next one I'm definitely going to do is this. It's been in my stash a while. That's the Eastern Front Hurricane. The thing that sold me on this, and everyone thinks I'm crazy, even my son, he's like, what are you talking about? Because I say I'm doing horsey. This one. That just looks really cool. I'll hold it properly for you. And I have to say, I haven't done many of the armor kits, but the ones I have done have been very good. So I thought that would be a nice way to get back on the horse, I suppose. To pun intended, all of that. The other thing that arrived the other day, and I don't have them with me, but I did get the limited edition sabers. So that's pretty cool. They're in the pipeline somewhere. This is an interesting one. You get the nice little Airfix medallion, and that's over there, and you can look at that because it was limited edition. But I just thought the schemes were really, really cool. What do we got here? I think it's the Arctic Gladiators, 1955. So yeah, the scheme, yeah, that's definitely a winner. And a cool plane. And yeah, I have been into 1950s, yeah, a bit of 1950s recently. Having said that, what else have I got here? And after my operation, I thought I'd treat myself. No, that speaks for itself, really. It was one of those ones, yeah, I'm that age group. I think I was 14 when Top Gun came out, so I've never gotten over it, really. And I'll probably buy another one of them. I'm not into the whole whose stash is bigger and all that. I couldn't care less, but definitely, yeah, I think it's interesting, at least from that point of view, just to see what I'm up to. And I can't really think of anything else I want to say. That's what's in the pipeline. If you're looking for someone who knows everything, that's not me. Oh, I would say I do like to actually, show my screw-ups, because that one, I think, annoys people sometimes. But I almost think it's disingenuous. So at the end of the day, I don't care about the likes and stuff. I've got a good job, all of that. This isn't some, career plan or side gig for me. I do it hopefully to help me relax a bit. And if someone can learn something from it, even better. And to my point, I do try and also post my stuff ups or screw ups, because I learn a lot from them. And I think sometimes that's where more of the learning is. You can hopefully see what not to do sometimes. Having said that, I do generally try my best, but like everyone knows, you have ups and downs. Some you just can't get into for whatever reason. Like a good example is that last lightning I did. It hasn't done very well, but I wasn't totally into it myself. So yeah, there's no surprise across the board there. Having said that, I wouldn't muck around with some of my, I wouldn't even say expensive kits, because some of the cheap ones, you have your favorites. So I think everyone understands that. So you do get a bit up and down. I do also like to try things I haven't done before. So yeah, keep that in mind. As usual, do subscribe if you're not subscribed. That just gives me incentive to make a fool of myself. I bought a porno light, one of those ring lights, and it's a bit weird, to be honest. I even felt a bit silly buying it in the supermarket. Because I think of this as a bit dodgy. And then the other week, I had all bits of foil scattered around, and this light here, and I wasn't even using it, but I was thinking, wow, it looks like I've set up a drug lab at this point, plus all the mess. So anyway, to get into it, what I'm going to do is take the camera off here and I'll give you a quick tour of my workspace, because I actually do think that is useful and I'm pretty happy with where it's at the moment. And I'll try not to wobble it too much. And I'll be back in a second. Okay, so this shows you my little corner. I don't like things sprawled out, and generally, believe it or not, I don't like a lot of mess. What happened here is, this is my original bench. It was one of those just study tables, I think from about 5 or 6 years ago. It's been beaten up a few times. I did come back and repaint it on the last move. Out of interest, I got back into modeling 6 years ago, and you can see it's sort of expanded since then. So I'm not one of the COVID babies or whatever you'd call them, which is cool. A lot of people did take up hobbies then. On my part, like most people, did it as a kid, teenager, got more interested in football, all the rest. So here we are. Anyway, the first thing I wanted was a bit more desk space, so I bought, I don't know, it's just chipboard, laminated, whatever. I think that was like $15 or something. A bit of sawing, and I added the L to it. So firstly, that gives me just that extra bit of workspace for storage. In this case, there's a Revel there that I was going to clean up, 132nd. I think that's the Ontario. Oh, it's been collecting a bit of dust up there. There you go. So that gives me that extra space. The sabers only arrived yesterday, so they can get put away. The important thing I think here is to show you my spray booth. The reason I've done it this way is I know what I'm like, and I never like that having to jump from, I don't know, gluing, cutting, all of that, then to go over somewhere else and spray. So what this is, it's essentially an enclosed work area. The details on the fan and all of that you can get from, well, there's tons of channels out there that go into that. The filter and the general idea I actually got from Barbados Rex. He does all those paint reviews. I imagine most of you would have come across his channel. One thing I did do a bit different was I used, I think this is 10mm foam board, which was a bit of a gamble actually, but it is paper coated or card coated with foam core. It was a bit expensive. Actually, if you've got saws and the room to do it, wood would be cheaper. The advantage of this stuff though is it was very light, easy to work. A box cutter and a glue gun. Took me maybe an hour to put it all together. And the light is just ripped off an Amazon light. So 20 bucks there. The air filter, definitely this was Barbados Rex, gave me this idea. Well, not idea, he went through how to do it. It's an aquarium filter, I think for saltwater. It's activated carbon. This is an old one. I replace them every couple of weeks, say. Depends how intensive I'm doing things. Yeah, and sometimes I'll even put, well, generally I'll also put some paper towel over the front, but I think they're about $10 each. The frame, I 3D printed that. You don't need to do that. That was as much me just, when I got my 3D printer, everything suddenly was solved by, oh wait, I'll 3D print that, then the novelty wore off. But I think the most important thing is how I've got the workspace set up. So I don't have to actually chop and change. I can be doing my work here and easily just start spraying, because here we are, my airbrush there. And again, I think that's almost me just being aware of what a lazy bastard I can be. If it's too much hassle, especially if I'm tired and all the rest of it, rather than mucking about, I'll go, oh, maybe I'll just use hand brush it or whatever, and that's never good. So I think this is just self-awareness on my part. One other thing I would mention, the foam board, I was a bit hesitant, thinking, oh, if I spill solvents and so on, that'll be the end of that. But actually it's held up very well. I just used some printer paper, and even where I've spilt stuff, solvents and airbrush cleaner and stuff, what tends to happen is it just gets soaked into the paper. So this is actually pretty solid. So yeah, I have no complaints, really happy about it. My little dodgy camera rig, and yeah, more about just, I think sometimes know how you work and what works for you. I don't think there's a set rule, but maybe this will give ideas. The racks, that was 6 months ago with my 3D printing everything. Interestingly, I do have lots of spare bottles of things like glue, Mr. Tool cleanup, airbrush cleanup, because for some reason in Australia, I don't know, they seem to be supply problems at times. So I think the other week there was a lot of places out of glue. So I don't know if that's happening in other countries. I did hear that Tamiya has had production problems at times. This one I bought at a show, I think in May. I haven't done much figure work really with it, but it was just too good price. And I do want to get back into some of that at some point. My palette, which is just a mess. And I don't worry about it too much. Normally, this one is just for acrylics on the whole. Oh, and you can see some masking fluid, which I will clean out occasionally. But normally I'll just put, say, a drop of black there and do whatever I'm doing. So that's really the guts of it. My airbrush, yes, I got a pretty good one, Harder & Steenbeck Infinity. Again, I wouldn't get too hung up on it. I had the Sparmax, can't remember what it was, for years, and it was really cool. I actually, so long as you're staying away from those, what would you say, the kit ones that you see like in hardware stores and all that, yeah, I wouldn't get too excited about it. I actually think it's more important to be consistent with your tools, and then you'll learn how to use them. Like even this is one of the top of line ones, but if I switched to another airbrush at the moment, it would take me a while just to get used to it. This one I use every few days, and I have for years now. So I think it's about getting used to the tool that you've got. I think that's probably more important than getting too hung up on it. Underneath, I did upgrade my compressor, and I will sort out storage for that at some point. I think, 3 months ago. This has been really cool. I think it's the 610H from Sparmax. One thing I do want to do is move my regulator up onto the bench, put some coil hose between them. And there's technical reasons for doing that, and also the convenience side of it. Having said that, from a user's point of view, the big difference I noticed with something on the more expensive side is purely, it doesn't run as much compared to, say, one of the Chinese, cheap Chinese ones that you can get. Having said that, I used one of the Chinese ones for years, no drama at all. My only amateur tip there is don't do what I did, which was when I got started, I got one of the tankless compressors. So that was not really helpful. Actually, I couldn't spray acrylics at all. It was very frustrating. I think it was more for nail art and stuff. So stay away from them. If you are new, just go down in Australia, Bunnings, Lowe's in America, I think Harbour Freight, all those, they're all the same around the world that I've seen. They're like $100 here, $120, you get the kit. I wouldn't put much in the actual airbrush that comes with them, but yeah, like I say, I used one of them for years. I've actually got one that's spare, just sitting there. All right, on to the next important part. Yeah, I do have lots of lights because I'm getting old and a bit specky. And the other thing I did do, again, a bit more of my 3D printing, and I've got tons of these to sort out. I haven't got to that point. I stashed some of the paints on racks, 3D printed racks underneath, because yeah, I have never found a paint storage solution that I'm happy with. I did originally have the wall of paints like the super YouTube people, you know, where you do that talking and there's like half a shop behind them, but it still seemed messy to me. I don't like clutter. So yeah, these will probably be my most commonly used Mr. Color. Yeah, well, I'm still not entirely sure, but I'll work that out as I get into it. The other really cool thing I did get was, well, there's bits of junk and everything still on top. There's an O-gauge wagon. Oh, this is an interesting one. And I may as well just quickly mention it as I see it. The wire I actually get from fly fishing shops. And because I do like fishing as well, but you can buy a lot of useful materials with the guys that do fly tying. So they'll have lead wire. Lead wire especially is much cheaper with those shops. Don't know why, but you can just buy a roll of it. And in all different thicknesses and also different shapes. What else was I going to say? I think that's a little hand drill I bought, but that's boring. That's not what I want to show you. These drawers, really cool. They were $8 each in Australia, so say $5 or something in US, a couple pound in UK. They're stackable, cheap, and really useful. I'm still going to put in I'll put labels on. Yeah, there's a lot I'm gonna do. Brushes up here, weathering for when I'm in my tanks and armor mood. Tons of paints, but actually, especially if I can get this sorted, stop being so lazy. Yeah, a couple drawers of probably the less used paints, because again, I just don't like them all. I don't like having lots of clutter about. Down here, sandpaper and a few odds and ends. In here is where I'm going to put my instructions and extra decals, all that type of stuff. For now though, I have just stashed in, yeah, I was wanting to get finished the other night, so I just threw in my acrylics, and I've still got probably another 50, 60 bottles of acrylics, and honestly, I'm not entirely sure what to do. Might buy some more of these drawers and just maybe have them laid out like that. Not entirely, yeah, I don't know, because yeah, I haven't got done that one. I did do the tip thing on these at some point where you can put the color on the top, but it still seems just crappy way to do it to me. Okay, the other thing that has been really cool is these drawers come either in the, where are we? The 2 horizontal or 2 vertical. So the nice thing actually is these are all easy to move as well. So I didn't have to mess about, yeah, too much at all. I think what's that? 20, 30, say 40 bucks. Up here, my glues. This is already turned into a bit of a junk collection, but I do like to keep sprues, or some sprues, in case I think it'll be useful at some point. So there's bits of odds and ends in there. I'll probably, well, the other nice part about these is I can just take them right out and swap them around as I need to. What have I got in here? Yeah, masking fluid, gauzy. I've never really used it. Well, I did try it and I wasn't that happy with it. Decal softeners, microsol, all that, microset. What else we got? Primers. This one did surprise me a bit. I hadn't used it before, but it's totally different to the Tamiya one that I had used. It actually reminds me more of my sprue glue, vintage 2021. So there you go. I think both have their purposes. All my tapes and things. At the moment, I just threw everything in there, but obviously some of these are going to get used a lot more than others. I probably use that 6mm more than anything. The canopy is the 1 and 2mm. Metallics, bunch of Outclad. Although I think you gotta, that's a whole video in itself, metallics, isn't it? Polishing. Oils. I do use as much for convenience while I've got everything else there. I still do use Tamiya panel line washes, and at the bottom, big tools. It's surprising how often I use these ones, and I can't even remember what I've put in here. Oh, drills and hand saws and stuff. So at this point, this is the neatest I've ever seen it. Like I said, I didn't want to get too. I want it to be fun and enjoyable. And I think, what have I got here? Bottle of white spirits, I think. Yep. I'll have to move that out before someone yells at me. Yeah, so just to give you a bit of a recap, this is my little work corner. And it's about, just from my point of view, efficiency. I want it to be pleasurable. I don't want more stress after work. So I do hope that's given you some ideas and a little peek behind the scenes. Oh, my little vise. I think I got that at Aldi for $10, something like that. So yeah, definitely I do hope that maybe gives you some ideas. And as always, do hit me up in the comments. Thoughts, opinions, always welcome and appreciated. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'll have to get to work on that hurricane. I haven't done a hurricane in years. Actually, probably not since I was a boy. I think the hurricane is one of those ones that, yeah, everyone seems to have forgotten about. But interestingly, I can remember, yeah, hurricanes and Spitfires. I think every kid my age at least knew them. So there you go. As always, stay safe, have fun with your modeling, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again.